I'm Lydia Serrano. I'm the Director of Stewardship, Communications, and Outreach for St. Francis de Sales. I'm joined today by two members of our Parish Stewardship Board, Lisa and Laura. Our Stewardship Board was formed 1 year ago to focus on the financial aspects of running our church and planning for the future. The board is comprised of parishioners whose backgrounds include nonprofit work, fundraising, banking, and sales.
First of all, I would say that I've been very blessed to have found St. Francis de Sales. I was born a Catholic. I was very much a practicing part of a family that practiced religion. And in my adult life, in the very beginning, I probably got away from that a little bit. And then I found St. Francis de Sales. And its community was so welcoming. And the messages every week in Mass and beyond they compelled me to think about what kind of person I am in my personal life and in my professional life. They challenged me to be better. And I think as I began to realize the positive impact that the church community was having on me, I felt a responsibility to give back in both time and money, to be there for other people so that other people could be touched and other people's lives could be made better the way mine had been.
We had visited a couple of churches in the area when we moved into this neighborhood. And I think St. Francis felt like the most open and affirming and inclusive that we'd gone to. And we really loved that. And I think once I got there, probably much like you, Laura, I realized how much I'd missed it over the years. So that was really important to me. And I grew up on a block, and everybody took care of each other's kids on the blocks, and we all reached across, down, over. You ate lunch wherever you wanted, you got whatever you needed wherever, in somebody's house. And living in Manhattan, we don't really have a block, and so St. Francis is kind of like our block now. And I think that we have a responsibility to take care of our block, take care of the people on our block, or in our block, so to speak, and reach across, down, up, sideways, and make sure that everyone feels connected to not just the church, but the mission, the community, and the block that we all live on.
If we want to feel loved and respected, we have to love and respect other people. If we want to feel taken care of, we need to take care of other people. And to the extent that we consider our gifts as Christians gifts from God, they're not gifts we are owed. They're not gifts that we necessarily work for and therefore deserve to ourselves. They're gifts that we are given so that we can share them with others, whether they be time, whether they be talents, and whether they be financial gifts. And the more we take care of others, the more God takes care of us. And I truly find that that is the case. And if we think of our money as, in our time and our talents as gifts from God, they're not actually ours, they were given to us, then it's easier. It's easier to have a paradigm shift where we can then share, only a small percent. We're able to keep most of our time and most of our talents and most of our finances, and all it takes to have a thriving community is just to give a little, and it makes a big difference.
I think that giving comes from a lot of different places, right? And it's important that we model that as parents too, right? Someone set this church up for us a long time ago, 100 years ago. This neighborhood, whether it was wealthy or not, whether there was money here or not, someone took the time to set this church up for us. And I'm happy to have found it. So I want to make sure that it stays here while we're here, and it survives for the next generation of families that comes in.
I have been a member of the hospitality community. I've helped with, one of the fundraisers. I now teach, not just on Sundays in terms of your participation in Mass, but beyond that, I think it's important.
When you give it away, you don't miss it. I don't miss $10 worth of coffee every couple of weeks that I can add to my automatic online donation. I just don't miss it. I make a pot at home, or I make a tea and take it with me. So I think those little things, the more we become aware of it, are important. And it just helps us have that balance of giving in our lives.
Both of you touched upon not just the treasure part, but also the time and the talent. And it all goes together. You know, we do have to pay the bills, but we also want to be a part of the community. So we want to donate our time. Many of us have skills or interests that we can bring to the parish. So it's really a very holistic approach. It's a way that everyone can get involved.
It allows our church to continue the mission around us. Um, Despite whatever condition financially anyone in the church may be in, if you need help, the church will find a way to help you. Just like we help the little sisters, just like we help the folks coming out of incarceration who are trying to get their lives back on track, just like we help the LGBT community of young people whose parents have thrown them out. So our church finds a way to help you. So if you can help the church, help its community, help our block, this is a great time to do it, and probably a more needed time to do it, quite frankly.
Yeah, I would agree. I think everybody, you know, even though some of our parishioners may be struggling, and maybe what they're able to share is less than what it was, there are a lot of people who are really struggling right now, and they depend on us to help them as much as we can. So for those people who are in a position to contribute more, it's even more important now.
Lisa, you were talking about some of the great ministries that we're currently involved in. It's because we have a strong stewardship base that we're able to do those programs. So stewardship at St. Francis de Sales has very direct results and a very direct impact on what we're doing in the community. That kind of work couldn't happen if we didn't have a strong stewardship base. So again, there's a real direct correlation between the donations that come in and the ministries that we're able to put out there.
We can't change the world and we can't solve all the world's problems, but we can certainly start solving some of the ones in our own backyard. And that's what I think of when I think of what we do as stewards of our church, whether we're helping outside the church or inside the four walls of the church. I was taking care of my own backyard.
Sometimes we might wonder like what it's all about. And I would say that in giving financially to the extent you can, it brings joy. It truly brings joy, and it can help bring anyone through a difficult time.